right now. Listen up.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
That's great.
This is ridiculous.
99.3 The Truth.
You can't handle the truth right now.
Ooh.
That was the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it. It's time for Max World.
And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Call Matt 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody! Showtime!
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
6 minutes after 4 o'clock, 13th day of June in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and this is the Monday edition, a very special edition of Max World Live. We have suspended all guests for today's program. We will have guests as the week goes on, but I think we're going to be, I don't know. I don't want to talk about this every day, but America's changing. It changed. I mean, I'm not telling you that Saturday was anywhere close to 9/11. You know, 9/11 was the invention of terrorism on American soil in a grand scale. This is pretty big. 49 dead, 53 wounded, attacking an LGBT nightclub, primarily LGBT. You've got presidential candidates. You've got the death of people. You've got terror. You've got Muslims. You've got Christians. And you've got the president saying this. Jebediah has the audio from what the president said about gun control. Go ahead, Jeb.
The most deadly shooting in American history. The shooter was apparently armed with a handgun and a powerful assault rifle. This massacre is therefore a further reminder of how easy it is for someone to get their hands on a weapon that lets them shoot people in a school, or in a house of worship, or a movie theater, or in a nightclub. And we have to decide if that's the kind of country we want to be. And to actively do nothing is a decision as well. In the coming hours and days, we'll learn about the victims of this tragedy. Their names, their faces, who they were, the joy that they brought to families and to friends.
Well, once again, you know, we're taking our eye off the ball. This isn't about gun control. Okay, guns don't kill people. People kill people. And this man bought these guns legally. They've already traced that down. The ATF have already figured out where he bought them, how he bought them. It was all legal. So guns aren't the problem. Radical Islam is the problem. Maybe bigotry is the problem. Maybe having such an open, tolerant country to allow so many intolerant people in. Maybe it's time to back up the bus a little. You know, maybe it's time to listen to guys like Luke Tim, your preacher, my preacher, people of God. Maybe it's time to figure out what we need to do to protect our children and grandchildren from living in a country that will either be dominated by a fascist police, government, army, and we'll all be living in prisons, or we'll be living in a Sharia law country and we won't even be alive. They'll hack my head off long ago. But I don't think, I do agree with one thing President Obama said. It's time. 515-244-0077. It's your voice I'd like to hear. We also have the Service Legends Truth text line at Service Legends 515-809-0993.
Words have meanings. And we need a president of the United States who will speak in plain English. We've had the administration call wars, oversee contingency operations. We had the Nidal Hassan, the Fort Hood shooter, was referenced as workplace violence. If we can't admit something in this country is terrorism, radical terrorism, now they want to call it a terror event, but they're not saying who committed the terror event. They're not wanting to utter the words radical jihad or radical Muslim, radical terrorists. So until we have a president who will stand up and call it what it is, we can't fight it as a country.
515-244-0077. That's the number that your voice can be heard in. I really don't have a big question today. You know, I try to always have a question that I post to you, and then you can easily call up or text and answer it. I just kind of wanted to leave it open today and just kind of give you an opportunity to voice your opinion. Maybe you're somebody who calls in every day. Maybe you've never called into this radio show, maybe never to any radio show. But something got you. Maybe you're LGBT. I'd love to hear from somebody in the LGBT community. And I have been reaching out all day, and they are just so busy. I mean, it's crazy. The fear that is running through that community right now is terror. And yeah, now 2 days in a row, I'm going to ask you to pray for LGBT people. I don't know what that makes me, but I'm going to do it again. These people are living in terror right now. We have a club in downtown Des Moines that's been there for 20 years called The Garden. And it is an exact duplicate of what this club was in Orlando. It's kind of off to another place in the community. Everybody knows where it is. It's all buttoned down. No windows, no nothing. You know, they drove a armored vehicle into this nightclub because that's the only way they were safe enough to get in. People were texting inside the club saying, somebody's in here killing people, somebody's in here shooting people. And he would just sit there and pick people off. Boom, boom, boom. That's terror. That's fear. Now, we have to figure out what drives that and eliminate it. Not coddle it or nurture it or become tolerant of it. Eradicate. Like Tony said, if you got cancer, you don't just cut a little out. You cut it all out.
We had some people not too long ago going back to Baltimore and to Ferguson that was talking about the detriment of militarizing police. But on last night's story, I heard nothing but compliments about the fact that the police went in with militarized equipment and took this guy out. Everybody's applauding the police in Orlando and not criticizing them. What's the difference? I'm not understanding.
Well, you do understand, though, right? I mean, you get it.
Well, there was 350 potential gays in the bar. 100 of them got either killed or injured, so they went in and protected another 250 lives. So that was a benefit that the police were militarized.
Right.
But in other instances, like Ferguson, it's terrible that the police are militarized.
Well, they're whiners. Progressives are whiners. They want it their way. If it feels good, I want it that way today. If tomorrow I wake up and it feels different, I don't want it that way anymore. And you have to do what I want done because I have feelings.
Did you see the picture of the Kevlar helmet that one officer was wearing that had a bullet hole in it, and it saved the police officer's life, and they was applauding the fact that this guy had a Kevlar helmet, which is a military piece of equipment?
515-244-0077. It's your voice I want to hear. Do we have any more texts that you'd like to share with us, Mr. Montserrat?
Yeah, this goes back earlier, last hour, but it's talking about this word that Muslims use, taqiyya, and I don't know how to pronounce it for sure, but it's Taqiyya. Anyway, it allows Muslims to deceive others to further Islam.
Yeah, they didn't lie.
And this texter said, I believe there are, or they are, Trojan horses among us.
Yeah, no, that this is,
That's what Mike Ahmed told you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That they're allowed to lie.
Yeah, they're allowed to lie. Their God says, go ahead and lie to the infidels because we want them dead anyway, so that's not really a sin if you lie to somebody who we want dead.
Look, guys, I said this off the air. I think the United States government right now needs to follow its own laws. They need to mean what they say and say what they mean. President Barack Obama today around noon said from the White House, talking a little bit more about gun control, he said, we make it very easy for individuals who are troubled, who are disturbed, who want to engage in violent acts to get very powerful weapons very quickly, and that's a problem. That's really true. This guy that committed this heinous crime over the weekend was known by the FBI. They knew who he was. They knew his intentions. They knew his connections. They knew his motives. They didn't know he was going to do this, but they were informed. Yet he was able to legally get a gun. That's a problem. And I don't know if it's President Obama's fault, if it's the FBI's fault, if it's ATF's fault. I don't know whose fault it is. President Barack Obama understood that what happened was wrong. That gentleman should not have been allowed to get a gun. He was one of the Islamic extremists here in the United States, and he should not have been allowed to get a gun.
He had a job in which he had to carry a gun. This guy was a security guard, worked for a security company, and had a license to carry a gun.
I think
That's a problem.
I think Jeb wanting in on this.
But I think that's a problem. Sorry, Jeb, I can't see you, buddy. You're behind me.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Hey, Chris, and like you were saying, you're right. Maybe he shouldn't have been able to get a gun based on his history, and the FBI did know that, and I don't know how long that span was. I think it was a few years ago, but he was on a watch list where if he did try to purchase a firearm, that would have been overlooked by the FBI, and he would have been denied that firearm.
So are you saying that this is possibly that he had these firearms before he was put on the watch list?
Actually, no. They took him off the watch list after they deemed him as not dangerous based on him having a wife and kids. And so they decided that it was okay to take him off the watch list, and then that allowed him to purchase the guns.
Yeah, Frank.
Well, I'm sorry to say this, and because it'll probably come out wrong, but...
Well, be careful then.
Well, it's going to take something to happen to politicians or something to get people's attention to take this seriously. And the gay community is going to howl like a scalded dog, and that might be what it takes to get the President of the United States to stand up and call it what it is. Radical jihad terrorists.
Taking a break, coming back live here on Mac's World on The Truth. Yeah, sometimes it's just the truth. 99.3.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. 21 minutes after 4 o'clock, 4:21 in the afternoon, 6:13. That's the date, 13th day of June in the Lord's year 2016. Tomorrow, the state senator who said he was leaving the Republican Party, David Johnson, will be here, and without a doubt, talking about what's going on today. Wow. Luke Tim will be here on Wednesday, and he's got a lot to say when it comes to this stuff. He sent me a text at the beginning of the show. He just got home from a mission trip. And this is what he sent to me, and tell me if you like this, agree with this. Death is the enemy. Sin is the enemy. Radical Islam is not the enemy. Not for the church. Radical Islam is absolutely the enemy of the state. 515-244-0077. You can also text us at the Service Legends Truth text line. Hillary Clinton, this is funny. I'm sorry, this is just funny. Hillary Clinton put out on Twitter, if the FBI is watching you for suspected terrorist links, you shouldn't be able to just go buy a gun with no questions asked. Sean Davis came back and said, if the FBI is investigating you for federal crimes, you shouldn't just be able to run for president. I love it. All right, let's go to the phones where Lisa from Des Moines is standing by. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to get my blood pressure back down.
Well, I understand. I just wanted to let you know I thought your your editorial was wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Make sure you tell me when it's not, okay?
No, I would.
Okay.
No, I just thought it was wonderful. I had tears in my eyes. I mean, it's cute.
Well, I really appreciate that, especially coming from you. I've been on a long, interesting journey in my life with the LGBT community.
I've noticed that, and it makes me so happy.
Well, it's kind of what Jesus wanted me to do, I think. I mean, I just think he
wants all of us to do.
Yeah, I think we just need to be over it. And Frank said the most interesting thing a minute ago. Frank, do you want to say it again since it was your idea?
Well, Chris was saying that I said something relevant, that maybe the gays and the Christians need to stand together and link themselves arm in arm to fight terrorism and force our president to actually do battle with this stuff, because now it's the Muslims going out and declaring war on gays, not the Christians.
That's interesting that you'd say that, because I was noticing the last couple of days have been kind of a tipping point on social media. Because I think I was actually kind of offended when I first started seeing it, and I couldn't understand it, and then it dawned on me. Somebody had to explain it to me. But people are saying, we don't want your prayers. Why do we want your prayers now? And I thought, well, that's kind of I don't know what you're talking about. But somebody explained that that the LGBT community has felt so demonized for so long. And especially the ones that don't know the Lord, it's like, well, you don't want me to have any rights. I mean, think of it from their perspective. You don't want me to have any rights. You disapprove of who I am. A lot of you call it a lifestyle. And now you're saying you're praying for me. Great.
Well, I know.
I was so offended. I was just like, why would they say that? Of course, everybody's praying for you. And then, like I said, and I was looking at Billy Graham's website, and he said, our thoughts and prayers are with. I mean, it was very nice. And then I looked at the comments, and one of the people said, "Yeah, I worry about them because they're all going to hell because I know none of them are walking with Jesus."
Oh.
And then another one said, "Well, if they wouldn't live the gay lifestyle, they wouldn't have to worry about being shot."
I just see that right there. See, that's something Mac would have said 8-10 years ago. I would have said that. And now I hear you read that, and it literally just gives me shivers.
I know. I mean, this is how I felt for the last 20 years, but I haven't been able to, and the thing is everybody's agenda is coming out, because I was watching it, and so now, whose fault is it? It's that NRA. It's the NRA's fault.
Yeah.
No, it's that Obama's fault, that Muslim president's fault. You know he's a Muslim now because he's a Muslim. And no, it's not. It's it's the gays' fault because they're gay, or no, it's the Muslims' fault. I mean, and so everybody is using it to further their agenda. Instead of all of us standing up and saying, this is terrible, what can we do to fix it? Everybody starts pointing fingers.
Let's get some facts on the table here. This is from the Jewish Virtual Library on the Internet. According to them, in 2015, this is worldwide, there was 11,774 attacks, 28,328 deaths, 35,000 injuries, and 12,100 taken captive, kidnapped. Over an 8-year span, according to this website, there's been approximately 60,000 attacks. 100,000 people have died in these attacks, and 150,000 wounded. This is a worldwide problem. It's minuscule going on here in the United States, but this ain't Protestant Christians out here blowing people up and killing people. This is a radical portion of Islam, a radical portion of Muslims. Now, are we going to stand up and declare jihad on these people back, or are we just going to sit here and let these people keep killing us, gay, straight, or whatever?
I agree with you. However, the thing is right, when it happens, it's the first thing people start doing. I think everybody just needs to call for calm and say, okay, now what are we going to do together?
But Lisa, isn't that what Obama said, essentially?
No, Obama... Well, yes, he did, but then wasn't he kind of hitting toward taking.
Yeah, he had his perspective on gun control, but he's calling us to all relax and calm down, but that's the thing we've been doing for these last 10, 20 years. I mean, like Frank said, you have to fight fire with fire. This isn't about standing down anymore.
And I'm not saying we should stand down. What I'm saying is right after it happens, everybody starts in, the voices start in, it gets so loud that nobody can hear each other talk. I mean, and I'm not disagreeing with you. We need to take this down. We need to, it's getting to the point where, we need to do something. And I do think all of us need to stand together, but I think that instead of pushing our individual agendas, which I have one, of course, I just wish that we could all just say, let's, instead of starting to politicize this and making it about gun control or about the president, because no, I agree, it is about the radical Muslims, clearly.
Lisa, do you just real quickly, and then I'll let you go. Don't you think that's going to be the one of the main topics of conversation during the presidential election? I mean, in a way, if you look at this from God's viewpoint, he's 5,000 feet in the air and he's looking down on us and he's going, okay, these children of mine, these gay people, have been fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting, and now they finally get to a place where it looks like the laws favor them to be able to live as free citizens in this country. Mm-hmm. And now there's people from outside the country who don't share American values who are now trying to kill them. And like Frank said earlier, they're trying to kill me and you, Christians, followers, Jesus freaks, and they're trying to kill the gays. What a strange way God would work if all of a sudden he'd put the Christians and the LGBT community together to bond as one.
I would love that. I would love if we could all bond as one. Because I don't see how taking guns away is going to help. I don't see how blaming each other is going to help. But yeah, we do. We need to call on everybody to stand up. Yeah. But blaming each other isn't good. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Lisa just said it, folks. She said it. I didn't say it. Chris didn't say it. Frank didn't say it. Bob didn't say it. Obama didn't say it. Jeb didn't say it. Lisa said it. It's time to bond together. Take a breath. I've got 26 pages of stuff I've worked up here. Chris has got a dozen pages. Frank's got pages. Bob's got tons of texts, and hadn't even been 48 hours yet. An hour ago, I wanted to round him up. Didn't you? Don't you want to in a way? I don't know if we can or not. Maybe that's ridiculous. Maybe Jesus just shakes his head when we say stuff like that. But you have to remember something. Please remember something very important. These people are the enemy of Jesus. They are the Antichrist. Remember, the Revelation does not specifically talk about one being as the Antichrist. The Antichrist is a group, is someone, is a lot of people, is a culture, is a world that is anti-Christ. Who could be more anti-Christ than the Islamic world? Frank?
Well, this goes a little bit to Obama bringing in Syrian refugees that our spy agency says we have no ability to vet. And Syria just happens to be one of these countries that feels that homosexual behavior is illegal. They don't kill people for it, supposedly. But they're sending us these refugees. Our system is on overload. We can't vet the people we're letting in this country. I think all Donald Trump is saying is let's put a moratorium on immigration. Let's round up the people who are illegal and deport them out, get control of this situation, put a moratorium on it till we can get the people in place to vet the people we're letting in our country. I don't think anyone suggests that we shouldn't allow legal immigration to the country if we can vet the people in a timely manner.
But here's the problem with it. This guy was an American. That would not have picked him up.
Well, sure.
Only common denominator here, I'm sorry. I'm not making this up. I'm not a cop looking for a certain kind of person because I want to be a bully or I want to be mean. Cops don't do that. Oh, one cop does it, and all of a sudden they're all bad.
Are you looking for the word profile?
Profile. It's a religion. This is their religion. They're doing it all across Europe. Why do we have our heads in the sand? We don't need to make this stuff up. I'm not trying to work you up into a lather today. They're doing this in France. They're doing this in Germany. They're doing this in Britain. This is their track record. Somebody comes, applies for a job with you, and they give you the resume, and you check the references, and they've stolen cash from your cash register drawer at every single place they've worked in the past. Are you going to hire them and give them a key to the cash register? America says yes. Well, let's do it. Let's give another chance. That's what the progressive Americans want. Oh yeah, let's be tolerant. Let's live in freedom of religion. Come on, Christians, be a little hypocritical now. You know, we wanted to ban you when you started killing abortion clinics and killing abortionists. You're no different than the Muslims.
So Donald Trump's message is not that far off. America first, protect this country. That message is not that far off.
Oh, Lisa, thanks for the call. I appreciate you. Tell me who you are on Facebook so I can have more conversation with you. 515-244-0077, Service Legends Truth Text Line, 515-809-0993. Bob?
Yes, here is one that says to not name the attacks clearly conducted by true Islamists shows the USA government is afraid, and that means the terrorists are winning. Mm-hmm. We are terrorized. So the start of defeating terrorists is to stop being afraid and call them what they are.
Yep. You know what? This radio station is named the greatest name in the world. The Truth. It's one of the reasons I love this thing. Because it raises the bar on me. I don't get on here and just whimper what I want for the day. It's got to be the truth. Because you hold me accountable to that. Let's start doing that for each other on this topic. This is the truth. We are being eliminated by radical Islam, and it's now happening in our country. Coming back.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money-back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. 4:38, 22 minutes before the top of the hour. Top of the hour is Salem Radio Network News. And then, of course, we are going to listen to Hank the Bible Answer Man. I bet his show's on fire today with this stuff. On fire. You know, no matter what happens in Orlando or Des Moines or Santa Fe or Boston or wherever, New York, it's still up to us to take care of each other. Take care of each other spiritually, take care of each other emotionally, and take care of each other financially. That's what this country is built upon. And one of the ways you can help take care of yourself financially is to talk to the experts at Weiss Merkel Financial. Talk to them about how to begin a retirement account. You say, oh, Mac, I'm 60 years old. I can't start now. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. You can start anytime you know that the good Lord may have you around a little bit longer than you had suspected. James Weiss, Lauren Merkel, Weiss Merkel Financial. There's a free retirement seminar that's coming up next week. And I've got tickets for it, and you can go for free. 278-4110, or call us here at the radio station. All right, let's go back to the Truth text line from the good folks at Service Legends, Bob Montserrat, and 515-809-0993. Bob?
Yes. Is it not allowed to quote the Bible that an action is a sin, yet still love and care for a person who commits that sin? For instance, if someone strongly disagreed with my view of marriage, between one man and a woman, but a tragedy hits me and they give me their condolences, shouldn't I thank them for their care? Yet we still disagree on that subject. Why do people take disagreement as complete hatred?
I like that. That's interesting.
I would say because people representing that truth have been hateful. That's why. I would say that people representing the name of Christ, calling themselves Christians, using the Bible, as Mac has talked about before, in his experience, people use the Bible to beat each other up. People use the Bible oftentimes to beat people down. One of the things that I think we misunderstand is that the Scriptures are very clear what's right and wrong. But if someone doesn't have a relationship with God through the Lord Jesus Christ, and they're not being conformed to the image of Christ, if they're not submitting to the Word of God, the Word of God is not of interest to them. They're not interested in hearing what it has to say. And what they hear instead is judgment. What people need to hear first is that they're loved by a God who died for them, took the punishment for their sin, but that they're loved by his ambassadors, by the people who name the name of Christ, who have the name of Christ. We should love our neighbors. We should love our enemies. I think Christians, by and large, have struggled to do that. Not all of them. They're good-hearted, kind Christians who can speak the truth in love, but that's not always the case. When you have Christians that are speaking what they claim to be truth outside of love and not adhering to their own standard, they're being complete hypocrites and using that to hurt other people, then I would understand why a homosexual person would not trust a Christian, why they would not want to be associated with a Christian. Because Christians have beat them up and abused them, sometimes physically, sometimes just with their words in the name of Christ. Already, I think it was earlier today, or last night, a lawyer from one of the lawyers of the ACLU.
Oh, yeah, this was horrible.
This was kind of funny, I thought. Chase Strangio, I don't know how you say his last name. He's a lawyer with the ACLU's LGBT and AIDS project. He tweeted out, this was actually yesterday morning. He said the Christian right has introduced 200 anti-LGBT bills in the last 6 months, and people blame Islam for this. No. He again is insinuating that Christians are to blame for the rage, and I think you gotta understand where this guy. Lisa might agree with this. You gotta understand where this guy's coming from, and the LGBT community is coming from. Christians have done a lot of things in the name of Christianity to hurt and abuse the homosexual community, and we have to own up to that. We have to be honest and say, hey, you know what? We played some role in that. We've got to be okay with fessing up to that and do something, begin in our own lives to love our neighbors.
The only thing I have done personally against the homosexual community is try to stand for traditional marriage. Since it got shoved down my throat in the state of Iowa in about 2009, I actively sought out to vote against the Turner, Straight, and Baker, the three judges, part of that Supreme Court, that give us gay marriage. And I got about a dozen other people to go against those judges. I can't say I'm the reason they lost, but I had about 12 votes against them. So I want to love the homosexual community. I don't want to see them beat up. I want to see them have equality of housing, equality of rights. I don't want to see them arrested on antiquated sodomy laws. But I stand my ground when it comes to traditional marriage. If they want to enter into some kind of union that's not marriage, fine. If we can leave each other alone, leave marriage alone, we'll let them do what they want, fine. But that's where I have to draw my line in the sand. I can love, but I also have to respect the institution of marriage that God created in Eden.
Would you, Frank, here's a good question for you. Would you go arm in arm protesting radical Islam with gay people?
Sure.
Okay, good. I'm assuming you would, Chris.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this my doubt is not whether or not I would join arm in arm with a homosexual person. My doubt is whether or not I would protest radical Islam, and that seems really stupid to say that. I mean, someone might be hearing me say that, but my concern here too is that we have a lot of Muslims in the United States who don't agree with what happened in Orlando. And Frank, you said it earlier. We have to be careful, and we have to be smart, and we have to identify our enemy. If we're gonna acknowledge an enemy, we need to be able to effectively and appropriately identify that enemy. And one of the most difficult things about this radical Islamic terrorism, all that stuff, is it's very hard to identify. They're not just all sitting on the corner of First and Grand waiting to be shot at. They're very, very difficult to find, and yes, they're domestic. Yes, they're in lots of places. But how do you find that enemy and stop them when there are people who look a lot like the enemy, but they're not? Just because someone's a Muslim doesn't mean they're your enemy.
Well, then I would suspect that Muslim, I agree with you, by the way, This is radicalized Islam.
Right.
Mike Ahmed, who's been on this show before, says it's maybe 10% of the world's the world's Muslim population. But you know what? If it's 10%, you know how many that is?
Yeah,
300 million. As many people that live in this country. There is one American for every one radicalized Islamic person. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be cordial. I don't want to be rude. 300 million of them. To me, that's worth starting to, what did we used to say? What did we used to say on the farm, Bob? We something from the herd, cut them from the herd.
I don't know. I'm not. That's a cattle ranch,
right? That's a cattle. You're a horse guy. I mean, it's time to cut them from the herd. So
well, there's 1.6 billion Muslims worldwide, and they're one of the fastest growing populations in the world. The white race, the black race, the Asian race is all in decline. Hispanic and Muslims is the fastest growing population groups in the world. So if they're 1.6 billion, just do the numbers in 40 years, do the numbers in 50 years. At some point, like Chris said, the Christians, the white Christian in particular, the Anglo-Saxon, Caucasian white Christian, will be in the minority.
I'm not sure we already aren't, to be honest with you. All right, one last break, and we'll come back. I know you've been thinking about calling. You may be a regular caller. Maybe you've never called before. But God's stirring something in your heart today. Maybe you want to disagree. Maybe you want to say, calm down. I can't believe what I'm hearing on a talk radio station in Des Moines, Iowa. You want to round up people because of their religion. Or you might be like Lisa. Can't we just figure this out? Seriously? It's got to be something more important. You know what's more important? Jesus Christ. Let's keep him in the middle, and he'll help us figure this out.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common, everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
4:50, 10 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News, and then Hank the Bible Answer Man with his worldwide live radio program. And the only place you can hear it here is on 99.3, so we appreciate you taking the time to listen. I've seen this on Facebook a couple times, but I want to say it this time. Obama said that this is how more people were killed in this event than any other event in American history. Well, first of all, there was Oklahoma City, and that was no guns. And that was a white Christian guy with a truck full of fertilizer and lighter fluid. The other one we cannot forget is when 150 men, women, and children of the Lakota Indian tribe were killed in a place that we later would call Wounded Knee. That massacre began the downfall of the American Indian. And if you're listening to my voice and you're an American Indian, I'm sorry. That's messed up. I don't know how that happened. But see, I don't want anybody to say that about 2016. Man, that's messed up. I can't believe you guys just kept letting the Muslims in and you didn't check them out. I mean, if statistics are correct and only 10% of Islam is radical, there are 3 billion Islamic people.
Million.
No, there are 3 billion 10%.
Oh, you were saying 10%
300 million.
10% of 3 billion
is 300 million, which is the population of the United States. So for every radicalized Islamic out there, there's one American. How hard is it going to be for that one radicalized Islamic person, and I may be saying that wrong, I'm sorry, to take out one American? This is their game. This is what they do. They've done it all over the world, all over Europe for 1,374 years. They have killed Christians. It is legal. It is legal to kill a homosexual. It is also legal to kill a Christian in more than 12 Islamic countries on this planet. Countries that you right now can go to the Des Moines airport, buy a ticket, get on a plane, and within 24 hours, you're in one of those countries. And if you're gay, lesbian, whatever, or if you love Jesus, it's legal to kill us. Maybe Frank's right. Maybe Frank just came up with the biggest piece of news since sliced bread. Maybe God is trying to move the LGBT community and Christians together. What did you say, Bob, about enemy of my enemy or something like that?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
What if it's Jesus Christ himself who have had enough of the hate that comes out of Christians towards the LGBT community? Maybe Jesus has finally said, fine, I guess I'm going to make this kind of important to you guys. You say you follow me. You say you're a believer. You read the book that I helped write. You read the book that my father inspired. You say you call on me. You raise your hands in prayer. You worship me. You say you love me. You say you die for me like I died for you. It's not going to be that hard, Jesus says. You just have to start loving your enemy. I told you that all along, Jesus says. I told you that. First commandment, second commandment, love the neighbor as thyself, love your enemies. Only one God. What would it look like in history if the Christians and the LGBT community got together to fight the one group that really does hate us? I'm talking about hate so deep that they've invented a religion that says it's okay to kill us. It's legal. What would that look like, Jesus? Frank?
What does the Christians and the gay community now have in common? We're both the infidels.
Yeah, we're both the infidels. I don't know. I mean, listen, I didn't plan to write an op-ed in the Des Moines Register that was printed last Saturday to talk about being nice to the LGBT community. I didn't know that that very day, there would be 49 LGBT community people mass murdered by a Muslim. I didn't know that. What does Romans 8:28 say? That he works in a way that only he knows, and he makes everything work for the good. Is that right? 8:28? Okay. If I got it wrong, I'm sorry.
All things work together for good?
Yeah, is that 8:28? I think it is. Anyway, wouldn't that be amazing if love loving thy neighbor, loving thy enemy, loving the ones we've been persecuting and hating and putting down and reveling over and arguing over and dying over and shutting down businesses. And just think of the effort that Christians have put into beating up the LGBT community, literally and in terms, in words. So Jesus finally says, all right, by the way, I knew you guys were going to do this 1,374 years ago. So I got Muhammad together and we created this religion and let the devil create this religion. And the whole goal is to kill the two of you. And now 1,374 years later, you guys finally figured out that you're friends. At least you've got an enemy in common that wants to kill us, not hurt us, not maim us, not hate us, not draw funny pictures on our garage doors with spray paint so it's... No! Kill, maim, destroy. The accuser has come to kill, maim, and destroy. And we keep thinking this is some type of fleshy person. No, the Bible tells us it's not a flesh. It's in spiritual warfare. And it was set up long ago. And Jesus' only message was love. And now he brings these two communities together because now we really know who the enemy is. Now we really know what hate looks like. When a man walks into a nightclub in Orlando, Florida with 350 people, and 47 minutes later, 49 people are dead and 53 are wounded. Now, if that's not hate, I don't know what hate is.
And he wasn't just going there with the intention of wounding people, because supposedly, according to all reports, he went back through and shot people who were clearly alive that had been shot once.
All right. I'm going to end this in prayer, if that's okay, guys. If you're driving, don't shut your eyes. Jesus, I just ask you to just reveal your plan for us and what your will is. Just give us little pieces. And if we got a little piece here in the last week or so, God, thank you for, taking the scales off our eyes so we could see where you work and where you live and where you play and how you love. It is all about love, isn't it, Jesus? It's not about rules. It's not about laws. It's not about right and wrong. It's about love, because love is always right. And Jesus, you are love. And I thank you so much that you shared that love with me. And you shared that love with everybody listening. God, we love you. We love you in the name of your Son, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. And we always remember that we forgive, because as we forgive, we will be forgiven.